Welcome. It's lovely to have everyone here. Tonight will be a little bit different, and it is in preparation for something that's happening next Tuesday, and that is registration is opening for a retreat that the Canmore Theravada Buddhist Community Monastery is sponsoring. And you often hear us talking about our meditation teacher, Beth Upton. And miraculously, Beth Upton is going to come to Canmore next February 2026. She'll be here and lead a 15-day residential retreat that will be held at the Canmore Alpine Hostel, which sleeps 30 people, and then 10 people will sleep here but be there for the day. And the dates are February 14th, easy to remember, till March 1st. And Beth let us have it start on a Saturday and it ends on a Sunday, so that working people would only need to take 10 days off work, 2 weeks. And just in preparation for that tonight, I am going to play about a 15-minute talk that Beth gave about 6 years ago. And then our community members that have been on retreat with her will just share a little tiny bit about their experience. 3 of our community members. Before I play the video of Beth Upton, I just want to acknowledge, I think Monique might have dropped off, unfortunately. So we have 3 board members. We had 3. Monique, I don't think, is there anymore.
I'm here, Aya.
There, great, Monique, great. Why can't we see you? Let me just quickly do, yeah. Sorry, you got cut off. Monique, are you on camera? Oh, great.
Yeah,
Great. So Monique and Ryan and Jan are all here, and just to say, it's a big commitment that our board has stepped up to, because Beth will only do retreats on a donation basis, on a dana basis. So the monastery is fronting, between $25,000 and $30,000 to put on the retreat, and they are stepping out on faith in that way. That we have a tremendous board. They're very harmonious and hardworking, and a real blessing to all of us. Yeah. So,
and the retreat is full attendance only, not part-time.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that clear.
Yeah. So we'll hear a brief talk by Beth, and you'll get a sense of her, I hope. Oh, I did a mistake.
So I trained in Part Arc. My teacher is Part Arc Theodore. If any of you have the chance to practice with him whilst he's still alive, I would recommend it. There was one time Part Arc Theodore was given yet another one of his very, very technical talks to a lay audience, and a friend of mine, a monk, said to him, Theodore, why don't you speak about something that people can understand? Why don't you give a talk about loving kindness, for example? Or morality, something they can actually take away. And Paul said, or he said, many people can talk about loving kindness. Many people can talk about the importance of morality. If even one person in this audience understands what I'm saying, it's worth me giving this talk. And so when I was deciding what to talk about in this talk and some other talks I'm giving this summer, I considered how the Dharma is in the West at the moment. And there's an explosion of really readily accessible, fairly basic Dharma that's helping a lot of people. And it's no criticism of that at all. But what I see is for the people who want to go deeper, there's a lack of those teachings available. So for those of you who want the readily accessible stuff that you can easily implement in your daily life, you're at the Buddha Field Festival, and there's lots of it for you in many shapes and forms. And what I want to talk about now is something a little bit deeper. So everybody wants the happy place where they can go forever. Do any of you resonate with that? Maybe if I just move here, get this house, find this partner, go to a monastery, I will find the happy place where I can stay forever. And the teachings of the Buddha are revolutionary. There is no happiness. Every little drop of it is suffering. Every little drop of existence. He said he doesn't praise even a drop of existence. Nothing is forever. Every single drop of it is impermanent. And there is no you. Revolutionary. Thank you, Buddha. But how to get there is a path of increasing happiness. So the Buddha liked lists and he liked categories. And very helpfully, he said that whatever we do with our mind, any single mental action that we do, or bodily action or verbal action, is in one of two categories. It's either skillful or it's unskillful. The unskillful is rooted in greed, hatred, and delusion, wanting stuff, not liking what we've already got, or misunderstanding it's permanent, or it's us, or it's mine. The unskillful side has got many flavors. It includes our hatred, our greed, our lust, our craving, our pride, our sadness, our fear, many, many flavors. But on the skillful side, just one flavor, which the Buddha called his words in Pali, the beautiful mind. And this is a bunch of mental factors that always co-arise. It's our non-greed, our generosity, our non-hatred, our loving kindness, faith. Faith not meaning believing in something blindly, faith meaning your conviction that this is good. Mindfulness, morality, mental balance, tranquility, flexibility, lightness. Wisdom is there, compassion is there, and the capacity to rejoice for others. I only have 18 minutes to talk. Well, what I suggest for all of you is if you wish to make progress on your Dharma path to states of increasing bliss and happiness and eventually the remainderless ending of all suffering, please check, is the activity that you're engaging in this beautiful mind? Or is it a pleasant distraction of craving? Please check. Many varieties available now, and sometimes they are coming together. So if you want to refine your practice, you need to refine these states that are the beautiful mind. I will list them again. So non-greed is there, that's your generosity. Non-hatred is there, faith, mindfulness. Morality, mental balance. Tranquility, flexibility, lightness. Honesty is also there. Wisdom, compassion, the capacity to rejoice for others. The good news is that when we engage in any one of those activities wholeheartedly, if we're cultivating loving kindness, for example, all of the others come along automatically. If you choose to be generous, if you choose to develop your generosity, your loving kindness is automatically growing, your morality is automatically growing. your truthfulness is automatically growing. Your wisdom, your compassion, and your capacity to rejoice for others will automatically grow along with it. If you choose to engage in mindfulness of breathing, then your generosity grows along with it, your loving kindness grows along with it, your morality, your wisdom, your compassion. Without your effort, natural function of the mind, that these beautiful factors always co-arise. So you can go with whichever one takes your fancy. But just cultivating this beautiful mind doesn't take us to the remainderless ending of all suffering. It takes us to a more beautiful life. But ultimately, it's still suffering. It's suffering because it's impermanent. As these beautiful mental factors get stronger in the mind will start to fall into states of lasting bliss. That bliss we call samadhi. You can find this in many, many mystical traditions, these states of samadhi. It's when the momentum of this beautiful mind becomes so strong that it will stay with one object for a long time, with no craving for anything else and no aversion to anything. No need to pay attention to your body, no need to know the time. It's some of the most beautiful states available to human beings, and I suggest you all try and cultivate these states of samadhi. It is very worth doing with your time. But natural side effect of that samadhi is we start to see the impermanent nature of all conditioned phenomena on a more subtle level. And where we previously thought of the mind as one maybe continuous stream of experience, we start to see that it's actually comprised of individual moments passing away very, very quickly, one after another. All of the physical world as well comprised of individual particles momentarily arising and passing away. By arising and passing away, I mean coming into and out of existence. That coming into and out of existence of all mentality and all materiality everywhere isn't peaceful. That impermanent nature isn't peaceful. The impermanent nature of joy, the impermanent nature of tranquility, the impermanent nature of the most blissful things that you've ever experienced is in itself suffering because it is momentarily perishing away. And that goes for everything. And because there's nothing outside of that great big mass of perishing stuff that can say, well, hold up, please stop perishing. I like this bit, last a bit longer. None of it is you. None of it is yours. Consciousness is perishing. Perception is perishing. Feeling is perishing. Joy is perishing. Happiness is perishing. Your intentions and good wishes are perishing. None of it is you. When there comes to understanding that none of it is you, and that it is all impermanent and suffering, there's no longer the wish to be with it. There is the wish for something that is more peaceful than it. That more peaceful is Nibbana. We got to Nibbana only halfway through the talk. Well done, me. That more peaceful is Nibbana. Again, I suggest that you all give it a try. It's a very worthwhile thing to do with a human life. With that first experience of Nibbana is coming the destruction of some of the impurities of the mind forever. They can never arise again. The first one to be destroyed is doubt. Doubt is destroyed because of the direct experience of the truth of the Dharma. If you imagine a fish that is born in the water and grew up in the water and spent its whole life in the water, trying to understand what wet is, and then it jumps out of the water. And when it goes back in again, it really knows what wet is. That is like the meditator when they are trying to understand the truth of non-self. When the wisdom is very sharp, we might look over here and we understand, okay, that's not me. And then we look over here and we understand, okay, that's not me. And this part isn't me either. And where I just was, that's not me either. But we're so in it that there's some latent sense of it being us. But when you remove yourself completely from any trace of anything you could possibly ever imagine was you, even momentarily, from any trace of consciousness, perception, feeling, any trace of physicality, when you come back to it, you understand, wow, it's really not me. It's really just stuff doing its own thing according to the laws of nature. And so the second mental impurity that is destroyed with that first experience of Nibbana is the wrong view of self. We shouldn't misunderstand what that means. There can still be perception of self. So beings who have had that experience, they still look at people and see people. So the simile that I give for this is, imagine if you have grown up with everybody telling you the world is flat. Some people do still think the world is flat. So everybody's telling you the world is flat and you believe it as well. And then one day you go up in a rocket into outer space and you see with your own eyes the world is round. And there's no one ever going to convince you again it's flat, ever, because you've seen for yourself it's round. But then you come back down to Earth and everybody's still speaking about a flat Earth and it looks kind of flattish. And you've got to relate to those people. And so your perceptions and your thinking still can work in flat Earth. That's how it is with our perception of self. The wrong view of self can be destroyed, but our thinking and perception still working in people, still working in the idea of self. But for someone who those defilements have been destroyed, they can't go backwards on their Dharma path. It's inevitable that at some point, all of the other mental impurities will be destroyed. The thing that is tying them to be reborn again and again, that being thinking that it's them, is removed. And so after a short time in the text, I don't know anyone who's verified this experimentally, but in the text, maximum 7 lives, there'll be no next life. There'll be no next life. There'll be the remainderless ending of all suffering. Is it what you all want? For most of you, I think no. For most of you, I think that probably sounds scary. Eckhart Tolle, who he's not Buddhist, but he's speaking from the same truth. Somebody asked him, please, can you tell me what you're talking about when you say ego? And he said, it's that which doesn't want to be annihilated. It's just our delusion. The Buddha said that the Dharma is beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, and beautiful in the end. I think he was quite wise. There is a remainderless ending of all suffering. It's really important. And it's possible.
So that's a flavor of Beth Upton. So now I'm going to ask Rita to come and share a tiny bit about her experience. She was on retreat for 15 days with Beth Upton this spring. So Rita, you can come up here. No, go ahead and sit. My city gloss not there.
Yeah, this is better. Well, you really put me on the spot. What can one say about Beth Upton? She actually embodies all those qualities that she talked about, the Chetasikas that you have been talking about. She does have a beautiful mind. And I was so fortunate that I got chosen or selected through the lottery process, because it takes, I think there are about over thousands of applications that are submitted for these retreats, and they get taken up immediately. I can truthfully say that it was one of the most memorable experiences, really. But just like any other experience, it too finished very quickly. But as a teacher, she is amazing, and I'm so glad she's coming here, really. It'll be enormously beneficial for all of us, I'm sure. So the theme of the 14 days with Beth was the discovery and the love of our meditation object. And that was in the beginning. And then after that, we moved to continuous meditation, which is both on and off the cushion. That was the theme for us for the 14 days, because we had a mix of people, novice meditators like me, and other students who were already well into the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth jhanas, which was quite amazing to see, actually, and very inspiring. So what was amazing was that normally when we try to get one-on-one interviews with Beth, it's very hard to get any time with her at all. So here, from morning to night, she would be working tirelessly, and there were about 45 of us. So she would met all of us many times over, one-on-one. I got to meet her thrice. And I know for sure that out of retreat, that would never have happened. And so her days used to start early morning and late at night. So hardworking. And again, her only caveat was that she loves to teach, and she operates from a place of Dhamma, obviously. But her caveat was that you work hard, just as she works hard. And so again, it was very fleeting, although I came away with perhaps a little better habits of meditation and a little more inspired. So I'm very grateful that I was there. Thank you.
And now, Kimasiri will share. She was at a 30-day retreat with Beth.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
A is in Calgary right now.
Yeah, I think Rita covered most of the good stuff, right? But from my own experience, what I found was that Beth was very, very loving and gentle and compassionate. And I'm more of the type that's quite reserved, and I don't really like to ask questions, put myself out there, that sort of thing. But I feel a lot. But I actually had the experience of being seen and heard by her, and that eye contact, and very, very compassionate. And that really, really touched me. The one thing that she said about me was that my heart was very tender and I was trying to protect it. And what she suggested was that I try to cultivate goodwill, compassion, and loving kindness to start with. And that really, really helped me. When I was there, I felt on certain days I felt muddled and not quite clear, that sort of thing. But when I can actually, can quiet my heart, I can see the benefit. And also, the practice of mudita, that was seen among the practitioners. There were practitioners who were really, really advanced. I never thought I would see so many people, and people were generous and kind and just loving. So, we can't help ourselves just to love that, to enjoy that, to feel that happiness. And that's what I actually got from the retreat. Coming back, finding myself having to adjust my schedule, finding myself a little bit unsteady. Even though I have my own routine, daily practice, morning, evening, I tend to push myself really, really hard. And after coming back, I realized that, I can be gentle with myself. Try to practice some compassion, loving kindness towards myself. I don't have to push myself to sit 2 hours in the evening if I'm really, really tired, that sort of thing. And just a few days ago, I heard a Dhamma talk. And, yes, we can change our positions. We can be kind to ourselves. Still, we do practice, we don't sort of slack off and not practice, we don't tell ourselves to go to sleep. And what I heard from a Dhamma talk was no one ever has become awakened by sleeping. And that really, really touched me. I was like, yes, that's exactly what I needed to hear, even though it wasn't from Beth, but it really made me realize that yes, I can still be gentle towards myself, but still I need to practice. So yeah, that's about it for me. Thank you. And I'm actually very, very grateful that Aya was there and Virginia. You know, I felt deeply the support and in your presence. You know, very grateful. Yeah, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I see it that way. Yeah, you know, I don't take it very lightly. You know, it's a huge blessing, and yeah, if she's coming, yeah, sign up for it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. And last, and then we want some time for questions. Last, Virginia will just share a little bit. Thanks, Virginia. Looks good. This is not the way to start out. I'm a preparer, so I have some notes. Because I wanted to remember some specifics to tell you all. But also, yeah, and Rita and A, that was so beautiful and sweet. Thank you for kind of bringing me back to the zone that we were in there. This retreat was the first time that I had met Beth in person. I had been kind of doing online things with her for a couple of years. But that was quite powerful in and of itself to kind of be in the room with her. And I keep checking myself about this specific phrase that I want to use, which is that this was the best retreat that I've ever been on. And I'm kind of like, can that really be true? Because I've been practicing for a long time and doing a lot of retreats, but it is true. And a lot of it comes down to the quality of her instruction. She's quite brilliant and extremely clear, and she has this way of teaching that is, it feels like it relies so heavily on just the natural unfolding of the awakening process. It's like she's just kind of, she knows the path so well, and she is so clear about how to keep us on it. And so it's just like she's kind of nudging every once in a while in these really specific, precise ways that's just zeroed in. Like I mean, for me, at least personally speaking, I just really get the sense that she knows exactly what's happening in my mind. You know, to the extent that I can describe it well, yeah, it feels like she's just been there, you know, she's been there and she remembers and she knows just the next step. And so it's within my reach and it's workable and I can do it. And then I see that it brings results and I go deeper when I listen to her instructions. And often she has to give me the same instructions many times. And I've heard other people say this too. And so I know it's not just me, but it's amazing. Like, yeah, she sees the kind of the stuck part gently, patiently, saying it again and again. And then, you know, one day it hits and then it's like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. So, okay, how much time do you want for the question? Maybe a couple 2 minutes. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I also just got to see, I think in this retreat setting, more of her real down to earth, friendly, normal, kind of real person way of being that she was with the whole group, and also especially I think in the one-to-one interviews, I got that again, just a real warmth. Sometimes her instruction can be really like so precise, but also there's this real gentleness and warmth there, especially when people are going through emotionally painful states, which inevitably comes up when you go deeper. So that was really great. The group itself was extremely powerful in terms of their example to me, for how to just again and again come back to wise attention and not get distracted, as I often do, by the dramas that come up. It was, yeah, I was a little bit intimidated at first actually being there with this group of people. But I kind of, something in us when we're in a group adjusts. And the adjustment was towards this real alignment with patience, wise attention, kindness, ethical conduct. I love thinking about the breakfast toaster routine. This is just a great example for me. And this is the last thing I'll say. We were on 8 precepts, so people had not eaten since like noon the next day or the day before. And there were always like 7 or 8 people who wanted to toast in the toaster at the same time. And there were just 2 toasters, and there were like 2 slots, I think, in each toaster. And the incredible patience and kindness and turn taking, all in silence and fairness, and like making sure that people got the toast that they'd put in, and making sure that everything was happening according to, you know, who had gone first, and making space for one another. It was amazing, and in such a mundane area of life.
That's when you need it the most.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So that's what I'll say. I'll just say a couple of words to clarify, and that is, we're not doing this tonight to round up people to come to the retreat. There will be so many people wanting to go to this retreat. But it is a very, very, very unique situation. Beth is allowing us to prioritize Canadians, and even we will be able to prioritize members of our community. So what I do want to say, I want to echo what Rita said. Beth works very hard, and Beth loves the Dhamma so much and really, really, really wants to preserve deep Dhamma, the depth of Dhamma. And she has students that have realized stages of awakening. And she will teach anybody, but I only want you to apply to the retreat if you really, really want to start prioritizing the Dhamma in your own life. That's what she wants from her students. That they're really, really prioritizing their meditation, prioritizing their Dhamma practice. And if that fits the bill for you, please apply and then do what you need to do to be there, because it is a very unique opportunity. And she is such a great teacher. She's just getting more and more popular. This is really a unique opportunity. Yeah, that we're getting her to come. So I want to open it up for anyone that has any questions about the retreat, and any of and you can ask any of the people that spoke. Yeah, Suzanne. Let's get it on.
Hello.
Hello.
I was just wondering, how do we apply? Like the steps, like you said, the next Tuesday.
The registration will be open for 1 month. It's not first come, first serve at all. It's the whole month of July. You can apply. You're just going to fill out a Google form from our website or Beth Upton's website, either place. Yeah, and registration will open next Tuesday, July 1st, till July 31st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Julie.
Can you just briefly, again, I know you've done it several times, but like talk just about her person again, like how her way was to where she is now, Beth Upton. Like
Her Dhamma path?
yeah.
She's from London, as you could tell.
Yeah.
She's British. She's in her early 40s, and early on in her life, she has an economics degree from Cambridge, and it completely turned her off many aspects of the world, and she just did a lot of things, altruistic things, working with nonprofits, et cetera, and then that led to her getting to Asia, getting to Thailand, and coming in contact with the Dhamma, and then she just kept going, backpacking, and she landed in Pal Monastery. She was 24, and then about a year later, I think she ordained, and she was a nun for 10 years there and studied with Pal. Yeah. And then for several different reasons, she disrobed and returned to the West, and is now a Dhamma teacher. And I will say, when I met her, I said to her, I said, I've been bumping around the Dhamma for 15 years. You're the first meditation teacher I've met. I met all these Dhamma teachers, but I had never met anyone that could teach me how to meditate. And I feel like if she can teach me how to meditate, she can teach anybody. Had lots of obstacles. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Sumangla.
Can you just talk about the structure of the days?
Yep, it's pretty much always the same, her retreats. So there would be a morning sit that is mandatory, 6 a.m. till 7 a.m. And she'll end that sit reading a sutta, just a couple of words, sort of orienting you for the day. Breakfast at 7. And then at 8 a.m., there's always an optional group interview. So if you have any questions about meditation, or if you don't and you just want to hear other people's questions, an amazing time of learning and seeing so much learning. And that's optional. And then most of the day is optional, because she wants people to find their own rhythm and their own flow and their own best time for meditation. So then lunch would be at noon, and then like 1:30, there would be another mandatory sit. There's 2 mandatory sits, 6 a.m. and after lunch, 1:30. And then in the afternoon, it's individual interviews that you can sign up for. And then in the evening, again, optional, you can go at 8 p.m. and all be together. And there's a metta list. It's very beautiful. And a metta list. So you throughout the day, different people are writing on the metta list. And this really makes you feel like a group. And then that takes like 15 minutes. She reads it, and then you do a short meditation. And then there's question and answer till 9:15. That's the day.
Does she do talks throughout the retreat?
No Dhamma talks. It's all sutta readings and meditation questions. And the Q&A, Leanne, it is full of Dhamma, but it's specific to what's arising. So no, she does not come in with these prepared Dhamma talk. None. Honestly, what I played, like, I've heard 2 Dhamma talks from her. That's one of them. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you're just like baking in Dhamma. Yeah. And it's all precise and specific. Yeah. Yeah, Lisa.
So just you had said that the retreat is really for those wanting to live more of the Dhamma in our daily life.
Prioritizing
Prioritizing.
in your life, in your schedule.
And what, can you just give me an example of, or just clarify that a bit?
Well, someone who's, you know, who really thinks that that's what they want.
I'm a little bit puzzled about that too. What maybe the question is, what do you mean by Dharma? Purpose?
Yeah, you want to purify your own heart and mind as much as possible in this human life. It's a priority in your life. It's a driving force in your life. You orient your work around it, your schedule around it, your social life around it. And, you know, that might feel like too high of a bar. If that's just even totally appealing to you, then apply to the retreat, because you'll get a kickstart at the retreat, and it'll send you on your way. But if that's like not appealing, if that's like off-putting, then don't come. And that's fine too. You know?
We do take the precepts.
Pardon?
We do take the precepts.
Yes.
So
Yeah. We'll be on 8 precepts, no dinner at the retreat. Yeah. Did I answer your question, Lisa? Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah. If your heart, like what I just said about orienting your life, if that like speaks to your heart, then but if that's like, you know, no, I'm got all these other things I also want to be doing. And that also, the Dhamma is, there's space for everybody in the Dhamma.
Thank you so much. That was perfect. And just that reminder to think more from here.
It's the heart. Yeah. Not like your schedule, like, oh, I'm only sitting a little bit. But if what's been talked about tonight is like whet your appetite and totally appealing and wow, then register. Yeah. I've been on a 30-day retreat, and there was someone there who had never meditated. You know, you don't need to be some slick meditator. You need to love it, you know, be super interested in your heart.
I think what Virginia said when she said it's not too big for anyone, because she gives you nudges.
Oh yeah,
It's not
she'll take you right where you are and get you and get what's in the way and help you. Yeah. This fellow that had never meditated, he came and the closing circle, he's like, yeah, I came because I wanted to, you know, understand my soul more deeply. And I found out I don't have one. She can teach anyone. And like, I go on these retreats and they're like, there are 20-year-olds and I've been on a retreat with like an 11-year-old, you know, and someone 90. Yeah. And all colors, all genders. Yeah.
there was a person there, a young girl. I think she was in a 22 or 23. Again, blank slate insofar as meditation time was concerned, but she left with the wind element, well advanced wind element. So, and you know, yellow
Sarah. Yellow. Yeah. All right. So, yes, Carrie.
Logistically, because it's far away, it's nice to plan for like monetarily when things are by donation. You know, there's a lot of costs associated with the online club.
Yeah.
What is
we're going to have registration open for, great question, Carrie. We're going to have registration open for 1 month, the month of July, and probably by like the second half of August. Well, but I'm telling you, if you live in Canmore, you know, and you come here and you apply to the retreat, yeah, I mean, this never happens in a Beth retreat, but it will in this one. She said we could. And, yeah, and when we send out those responses, we will outline like this is sort of the general cost, and then give ballparks, but that, so I think it'll be like around, if like 800-ish, for 15-day retreat, housed and fed. But that is like, if someone can give $50 and they want to learn to meditate and they want to come, the rest of us will, like, that's the whole point of it being by donation. People that can't pay as much don't pay as much, and people that can pay more pay more. And this really very, very much is what the Buddha intended, that the Dhamma is available. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah. And we'll try and be kind of specific, not suggesting what people pay, but so that they understand. Oh, okay. So yeah. And thank you again to our beautiful board. Yeah. And that we have 3 board members here tonight. We usually just have Ryan. And it's great to have Ryan. It's so awesome.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I turned the recording off.